He was abandoned as a child. His father was murdered. His family was left to starve on the Mongolian steppe. Years later, the same boy would unite the Mongol tribes and build the largest contiguous empire in human history. His name was Temujin. The world would remember him as Genghis Khan. Before Genghis Khan became a conqueror, he was simply a boy trying to survive. He was born on the vast Mongolian steppe during the 12th century. There were no great cities around him, no stone castles, no permanent borders, only endless grasslands, harsh winters, powerful tribes, and families who depended on their horses and livestock for survival. The Mongol world was divided between rival tribes, the Karaite, the Nayman, the Merkit, the Tatars, and countless smaller clans. They fought over grazing lands, animals, trade routes, and honor. Alliances could last for years or disappear in a single day. A powerful leader could become respected by thousands. A weak leader could lose everything. For a child born into this world, survival depended on family. Temujin was born into the family of Yasuge, a respected Mongol chieftain. His father was a warrior and tribal leader, and from an early age, Temujin was expected to inherit his position. But his childhood would not remain peaceful for long. The boy on the steppe. When Temujin was still a child, his father took him on a journey. The purpose was simple. He wanted to arrange a marriage for his son. Marriage was not simply about love in Mongol society. It could create alliances, strengthen families, and protect a young man's future. Yasuge brought Temujin to the family of a powerful tribe. There the boy met Bert. She was several years older than him. Their families agreed to an arrangement. Temujin would remain with Bert's family for a time before eventually returning, but while Yasuge traveled home, his enemies were already watching. The Tatars had long been rivals of his people, and when they recognized him, they invited him to share a meal. Yasuge accepted. It was a mistake. The Tatars poisoned him. By the time he returned home, he was dying. Temujin's world changed in a single moment. His father was gone, and without him, his family lost its protection. Temujin was still a child. His mother, Heilan, suddenly had to protect her children alone. But the tribe did not intend to support them. The family was abandoned. Their followers left. Their animals were taken, and the family was forced onto the open steppe. Heilan refused to surrender. She gathered what little food she could find, wild roots, berries, small animals, anything that could keep her children alive. The family survived through the Mongolian seasons. Summer brought heat. Winter brought freezing winds and starvation. There was no army coming to save them, no wealthy relative waiting with supplies, no powerful chief protecting them. Temujin learned one lesson very early. Power was survival. The boy who had once expected to become the son of a chief now had to fight for food. He learned to hunt. He learned to ride. He learned how to read people. And most importantly, he learned that loyalty could disappear when power disappeared. But Temujin had another problem. His own family was divided. His older half-brother Begder competed with him for food and authority. The tension between them grew. Eventually, Temujin decided that Begder had to die. He and his younger brother tracked Begder down. Temujin raised his bow and killed him. He was still very young, but something had changed. The boy who had been abandoned was beginning to understand the brutal rules of his world. Strength mattered, fear mattered, and weakness could be fatal. Yet Temujin did not become powerful immediately. For years his family remained poor. Then another disaster came. Temujin was captured by a rival group. They placed a wooden collar around his neck. He became a prisoner. A child who had once been destined to become a chief was now treated like a slave. But Temujin escaped. And that escape became one of the first signs of the man he would become. He had learned something important. Chains could hold his body. They could not control his will. When he returned to his family, Temujin began building something he had never possessed before, a network of loyal followers. He understood that he could not survive alone. He needed allies, he needed warriors, and he needed people who would follow him because they trusted him, not simply because they belonged to his family. One of the most important people from his childhood would soon return to his life. His name was Jamuka. Jamuka was another young Mongol noble. The two boys became close friends. They shared food, they camped together, they hunted together, and according to Mongol tradition, they became Anda blood brothers. For Temujin, this friendship was extremely important, because for the first time since his father's death, he had someone powerful standing beside him. But the Mongolian steppe was changing. Temujin was growing older. His reputation was spreading. Men began joining him, not because he was the son of a great chief. His father's old tribe had already abandoned him. They followed because they believed Temujin could give them something better, a future, a place, a reason to fight. And slowly, the abandoned boy began gathering followers. His first real army was small, but it was loyal. Temujin treated his followers differently from many traditional Mongol leaders. He promoted men based on ability, not simply birth. A skilled warrior could rise. A loyal follower could become powerful, and a nobleman who betrayed him could lose everything. This approach began attracting people who had little to gain from the old tribal system. Temujin was creating something new, not simply a tribe, a brotherhood of warriors. But one man stood in his way, Jamuka, his oldest friend, his blood brother, and eventually his greatest rival. The two men who had once shared the same camp would soon stand on opposite sides of the Mongolian steppe, and their rivalry would decide who would unite the Mongols. Because before Temujin could become Genghis Khan, he would have to defeat the people who knew him best, and his greatest enemy would not be a foreign king. It would be the man who once called him brother. Brothers become rivals. Temujin and Jamuka had once shared the same camp. They had hunted together, fought together, and called each other brothers. But the steppe was not large enough for two ambitious leaders. Their followers began to notice the difference between them. Jamuka represented the old Mongol world, powerful families, ancient tribal traditions, noble blood. Temujin was building something different. He believed loyalty should matter more than birth. A talented warrior could rise regardless of his family. A poor man could become powerful if he proved himself. This idea attracted followers, and it frightened traditional Mongol nobles. The tension between the two friends eventually became impossible to ignore. Temujin and Jamuka separated. What had once been brotherhood became rivalry, and soon they would face each other on the battlefield. Jamuka gathered a powerful army. Temujin did the same. Their forces met on the steppe. Temujin was defeated. For a moment, it looked like his ambitions were finished, but something unexpected happened. The defeat did not destroy his movement. Instead, it taught Temujin another lesson. He needed more than brave warriors. He needed organization. He needed discipline. And he needed a system that could turn dozens of competing tribes into one fighting force. Temujin began reorganizing his followers. He broke apart old tribal structures. Instead of allowing warriors to fight only alongside members of their own clan, he mixed them together. Men from different tribes were placed in the same military units. Their loyalty shifted, away from their old clan, toward their new leader. This was revolutionary. Temujin was slowly destroying the tribal divisions that had kept the Mongols fighting one another for generations. But he also understood the importance of mercy. When enemies surrendered, he sometimes offered them a place within his own army. A former enemy could become a loyal Mongol warrior, and this created something incredibly powerful. Every victory made Temujin stronger. Every defeated enemy could become another soldier. His army grew, his reputation spread, and his enemies began to understand that this was no ordinary tribal chief. Then Temujin turned toward the Tatars, the people who had poisoned his father. For Temujin, this was personal. But he did not simply want revenge. He wanted to destroy the power of a rival tribe that had threatened his family for years. The Mongol army attacked. The Tatars were defeated. Temujin ordered the surviving warriors to be absorbed into his forces. Their children and families were distributed among Mongol households. The old tribe was broken apart. Another enemy had disappeared. But Temujin's greatest challenge was still ahead: the Karaite. The Karaite were one of the most powerful groups on the steppe. Their ruler, Togrul Khan, had once been an ally of Temujin's family. Temujin strengthened the relationship through marriage alliances and military cooperation. For a time, the two leaders fought together. Their armies defeated common enemies. Temujin gained more followers, more warriors, more influence. But success creates fear. Togrul began to realize something dangerous. Temujin was becoming too powerful. The young warrior he had once supported was becoming a rival, and once again, the Mongolian steppe was approaching another war. Togrul's son also distrusted Temujin. The Karaite leadership began planning against him, but Temujin discovered the plot. Instead of waiting for the attack, he attacked first. The Karaite army was caught unprepared. Temujin's forces surrounded them. The battle was brutal. They called him dangerous, a threat to the old order. Temujin's followers believed something very different. They believed he was creating a new order, one where loyalty mattered more than ancestry, where warriors could rise through ability, where defeated enemies could become allies. The final struggle was approaching, and across the Mongolian steppe, two visions of the future were about to collide. Jamuka represented the old world. Temujin represented the new. Their armies eventually met. Temujin won. Genghis' power collapsed. But Temujin did something that revealed just how different he had become. He did not simply destroy his rival's followers. He absorbed them. Thousands of warriors joined his growing army. The tribes that had once been enemies were now part of the same force. One by one, the old tribal world was disappearing, and in its place, a new Mongol nation was being created. A new Mongol nation was being created. By 1206, the balance of power on the steppe had completely changed. The great tribal rivals had been defeated. The Mongol clans had been united. And Temujin stood at the center of it all. Thousands of warriors gathered on the steppe. They came from different tribes, different families, different backgrounds. But now they had one leader, one army, one purpose. The Mongol chiefs gathered for a great Kurultai, and there Temujin received a new title, Genghis Khan, the boy who had been abandoned by his father's tribe, had become the ruler of the Mongols. But becoming Khan was only the beginning, because Genghis Khan did not look at the steppe and see the end of his journey. He looked beyond it, to China, to Central Asia, to Persia, and eventually to lands his ancestors had never even heard of. The Mongols had finally stopped fighting themselves. Now their armies were going to face the rest of the world. The tribes were united. The old rivalries were broken. Temujin was now Genghis Khan. But the Mongols had never faced a challenge like the one waiting beyond the steppe. To the south stood the mighty Jin dynasty. Beyond it were kingdoms, cities, and civilizations far larger than anything Genghis Khan had ever known. His people had spent generations fighting each other. Now they had one leader, one army, one direction. And Genghis Khan was ready to move beyond Mongolia.